we are all back out of the property this weekend. The temperature and the humidity's dropped off once again. I actually recorded a intro last Saturday morning when I was out here. I wasn't working on that. I was working on ATV trails, but I decided not to post that video because it was way too hot, and I stopped taking video because it was so hard to work down there. I literally had everything head to toe soaked, had water literally pouring off the brim of my hat, so I just focused on working to get it done. Steph and the kids are out here with me. Just like last video, they're still sleeping. We're working on that. Last night, the skies cleared off, which is going to be an overcast day, which is good. Skies cleared off, had a campfire, made s'mores, had a ton of fun with the kids outside watching stars and shooting stars and all of that stuff. So my goal for the weekend is to get the rest of the roof structure up, finish framing the little bit of wall that's left there, and then sheathe the whole thing. And a win would be is if on the sheathing we get all the ice and water shield on. That way next time I come out here, we'll at least be house wrapping and maybe bringing windows out. So we'll see how this goes. I'm probably not going to take a ton of video this morning until Steph gets up, but we'll go for there. So as I was mentioning, waiting for Steph to get up, but gonna go ahead and get the rest of this wall framed out today. Got a pretty good start actually in this footage. Since the camera's moving, that means Steph is up. And as you can see, I am working on, I want to say, reworking the upper framing section to frame the second window, just because I framed it as 12-foot studs to match the left back wall. And so working on putting the header up in place. So I got that header up in place for the most part. Next step, do a little contemplation on getting that upper section framed out. Decided to go ahead and I guess let the kids up there so they could play around for a little bit. But what we're going to do is start putting the rest of the roof trusses up. That way, as I get down to this end wall here, I can match the angle with the rest of the framing. So we get the rest of these in across the top. Steph does a good job helping getting them up there, getting them nailed in. You'll see here shortly as we get them up. We did skip a couple, so that way that we could nail in the overhang portions of the roof a little bit easier, and then end up coming back and getting those in there. So it's going pretty well. You can see this is where we skipped a few sections of the roof trusses. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish framing out this rest of the angled wall section here. Went in pretty well. Did struggle a little bit with that end truss as we did I think it's around a 15-inch overhang on both ends. I think we're around 15 on the back and not quite 2 foot on the front at that 16-foot peak. But you can see right now framing those in, putting take that one out, put it back up, and then we're going to go ahead and finish the 2 internal trusses, and then we'll end up wrapping the ends here shortly. We're gonna get in kind of that fascia cap board up there. Did end up putting a couple brackets to help hold it up in place as we get the framing nailer up and get that nailed in. End up swinging around to the side here shortly, but
make myself useful here.
We are going to go ahead and get the piles of plywood and lumber moved around so that way we can use the tractor to move the sheathing for the roof up in place.
Okay.
The TYM little 25 horsepower tractor's been great. It's been nice so far having the fork attachment for the front of that. I haven't shown you a ton of content around the tractor. It's also nice using that flail mower as a counterbalance to whatever we're lifting on the front. But gonna get this lifted up.
Can you tilt that
over and behind where the tractor's at now.
There you go, because I think you're going down into the ground.
Look like you said the first 2 stacks or the first
3? 2. Hanging up on the 3rd. Yeah, you're not getting that 3rd one. It's just moving them all.
Looks like it's about to fall off.
Yeah.
Push it up, baby.
Okay.
Those boards, I want to put it right over here. Okay. You're going to grab those and I'm going to back up in there. Probably should have been some of the thumbnail as Steph works on her sweet dance moves.
Thinking about how this is gonna go.
Okay, I was gonna say I have an idea. I don't know. It's like it'll probably be hard to get them on with a filter, right? So how high does it go if it's more flat? And as high as it can go flat. And then we can put a ladder side and we can both put them up. You know, like you have to extreme route.
So we had to go ahead and move the 1/2-inch sheathing sheets off the top of the stack so that way we could get to the roof sheathing, which those sheets are, I think, 23, 30 seconds or something like that thick. So not quite 3/4, but close in there. And so I think we did about 4 or 5 sheets at a time, getting prepped to get the ladders on either side. We did put a little foothold up on the fascia 2 by what are those 2x10s, I believe. That way we'd have a foothold as we pulled the sheathing up onto the roof and stacked it in place. So we're both going to get it up there and pull them off the forks and pull them straight up onto the roof, and we'll get the roofing underway. Now, I will say, by the time that I got done butt scooting around this roof, just in the pure fact that I am not used to being up on a roof and walking around, we also didn't have any of the safety fall harnesses with us, so we were extra careful and didn't spend a lot of time walking around on our feet. But we ended up getting the vast majority of this roof sheathed. I think it was 2 pieces short, which you'll see probably in the next video, getting that taken care of. But got all the sheathing on, and next we'll be working on the ice and water shield.
I did.
That's our little ferocious dog, Teeny, out here enjoying the weather. Getting the roof all trimmed up there, so I think at this point we have most of the sheathing up. Steph's going to give you a little look around here.
Jinkies.
So here's the start of the ice and water shield. We end up doing the entire thing. Since we're doing metal roofing, we went ahead and used the high temp ice and water shield. Did a little research here. You don't want to just use standard ice and water shield. The metal roofing directly contacting this, especially we're going to use black. We're going to get away with that just because of the shade that we have here, but that black metal roofing gets pretty hot, and so you're going to want the high temp ice and water shield. So this is going to pretty much wrap up the work for this weekend. We'll see you back here in a couple weeks.